Hello and welcome to the Matchday preview here on Back of the Net as AFC Bournemouth tomorrow travel up to Barnsley. It's myself, Sam Davis.
And me, Tom Jordan.
Hello, mate.
Hello,
How
mate.
are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
Nice
very
to
well.
see you on this Friday.
Yeah, it's definitely Friday.
Yeah, definitely Friday. I sort of try to economise on my use of clothes.
Yeah,
So
I always
if
wear the same stuff, and then I normally come back to the same setting that I've been to the day before as well, just to, it's that routine, isn't it?
Yeah,
Lovely.
it is that
Lovely.
routine, and it doesn't put you off your stride. Anyway, yeah, tomorrow we play Barnsley at Oakwell. Today, though, we're at the Pear at Parley in West Parley. Get on down here for a drink. Look, we're always in the beer garden, but it's lovely inside as well, isn't it?
Oh man, I love it. I love this pub. I've lived around here for a fair period of time, and it's always been my favourite, mate. It's the acres outside of that in the summer, it's gorgeous. But yeah, it's not too bad today, so it's all right to sit outside, and yeah, I really like it down here. So get yourselves down here.
Get yourselves down here. So we're playing a side that's rooted to the foot of the table. Now, in our last match against Hull City, the Cherries suffered their second defeat in a row. The previous one before that, of course, was Luton. It's the second time this season where we've actually lost 2 games in a row this season. Hopefully it won't be 3. What's coming up on today's show? Well, we've got Parker's Presser with Morgan Scott, who's going to bring us all the information from yesterday's press conference at Dean Court. We've also got a view of the opposition with Joe Beardsall from the Red All Over YouTube channel. Excellent Barnsley channel. We've got the pubs, we've got the predictions, we've got the chosen 11 too. But firstly, stop what you're doing. Stop. Are you a Barnsley fan? Are you a Bournemouth fan? Are you a fan of an EFL club? Just take a look just below this video. If that button is red, that means you're not subscribed to us. And believe me, it's really weird. About 60% of people that watch our videos don't subscribe and can't see our beautiful faces week in, week out.
That's unbelievable. 60%. Yeah, that's outrageous. But yeah, just click the button for us, will you? It really does help, and click that like while you're there as well, because then more people get to see it. So do all that good stuff. We really, really appreciate it. 60% is outrageous. That's more goal contributions than Dom Solanke this season. Absolutely outrageous. Do it.
We sound really desperate. We do sound,
But
but I love it.
Click that button.
Do it. Let's wind back to September then. That's the last time we played Barnsley. It was my birthday, mate.
Yes, it was. That was a good little weekend. That
It
wasn't
was.
it? Yeah, enjoyed that.
You popped in and did all that, reveal, the
you
birthday
loved it.
messages, and Mike Botto did a happy birthday and all that kind of stuff. And look, the Cherries and the Tykes met at Dean Court. At the time, their manager was Marcus Shop, and we rolled out 3-0 winners with a cheeky little Jordan Zamora being man of the match. Let's relive that day.
Go on, Brixie! Go on! Oh, go on, come inside, go on, one more! Oh, yeah! Come on! Jane fucking D! There's us having a go at everyone! Hey, first one, man, what move? Go!
I was crying.
The speed, 2 goals, perfection. Hey, the fans are amazing. Good day,
Cherries.
We love you, Cherries. We love you, Cherries. What's the question?
Hell of a game.
Oh,
hell of a game, mate.
I always remember that Zamora goal. That's what a goal.
Which one? The
second one.
Yeah.
In
Oh my God.
The run he went on, and yeah, we were pretty. I mean, looking at Barnsley now, no disrespect to them, but obviously not doing very well at the time. We weren't to know kind of what they'd be like. Obviously, they got the playoffs last year, which is seems really odd now. But we were good on the day. And Zamora was brilliant. That was probably the game where I thought, I tell you what, we've got a hell of a left back here. You know, he really stood on the game. And
he was under our noses all along.
He was indeed. But yeah, really enjoyable one, wasn't it? Enjoyable weekend. So, and I've had some enjoyable trips to Barnsley as well, mate. So looking forward to it, although a little bit anxious.
A little bit anxious, but you take a look at the league table and here it is on screen. There we are at the top, and then, I don't want to make the sound effect, but there they are. I mean, I do feel dreadfully sorry for them at the moment because they do seem to be in a bit of a state, and I'm been chatting to a few fans, on and off the pitch. It's not particularly good, but they're a team that's doing worse than Derby. I mean, they started on minus 21 or were equivalent to have lost that amount of points over the season through no fault of their own. And wow, I mean, have to get a result, have to.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on us, definitely. But yeah, it's been quite sad to see with Barnsley, because obviously last season they were punched above their weight, so to speak, in the sense that no one really predicted them to get in the top six, and they earned it right. I thought they played some really good stuff. They gave us a good game at our place, and yeah, they were unlucky not to go the distance. To be fair, they were a good outfit, and losing the manager, I think it was Moat. And you're thinking, that might affect them a little bit. They probably didn't see the drop as big as it was. They look like they're probably going to go down. I mean, it's all pretty tight down there. You never know, a few wins in this league. But yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on us. We've just lost 2 games, and you want to play a team that are really in the mud at the moment, and we are. But it puts a lot of pressure on us, and I'm sure Bournemouth fans will be happy to tell you that we like to change people's fortunes, don't we? Like when a player hasn't scored for a year, we'll score against us, and etc. etc. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time around, but I'll take any sort of win, mate, even if it's an horrible one. We just need to get back the winning ways, and unfortunately, if we were to lose a game like this or fail to win, then questions will be asked. So we really need to bounce back on this one.
Yeah, since the game against Barnsley, then home and away, Barnsley have only won 1 game, beating fellow relegation candidates Derby County. That was a
big win.
Yeah, huge win for them at Oakwell. They've drawn 5 and lost 14. Their most recent game away was against Nottingham Forest away at the City Ground on a Tuesday night, where they lost 3-0 with a depleted side. Even their manager wasn't there due to illness as well. But you know what, when you play a Steve Cook side, you're never going to win anyway, are you? Steve
Cook / Lewis Graven side. I mean, I tell you what, yeah. But yeah, their fortunes haven't been great at the moment. But you never know. Sometimes you get that siege mentality. Sometimes all it takes, genuinely, in a game like this, is Barnsley to have a few early chances, and the crowd kind of get up for it, and and they treat it kind of like a cup final, so to speak, and a one-off game, and the game can change completely. So I mean, we saw that quite recently with Hull, to be fair, and in their last week beating us and Blackburn. So strange things have happened, mate. But hopefully, with the with the way they are at the moment, we should take advantage. We've got so much quality.
And look, I know there'll be Barnsley fans watching. I take no pleasure in seeing your situation, both on the pitch but off the pitch as well. And there's talk of protests, all sorts of boycotts and all this kind of stuff. And it's not a pleasant situation to be in. And we are lucky with our club that we've got an owner that seems to want to stick by us. We've got a fairly competent board, and we've got a manager that we're slowly warming to after a bit of a dodgy patch. But at the start we loved him, and then there was an icy stage. But it's fine. He'll get us promoted. But we need to beat Barnsley to do that. And yesterday, Scott Parker was chatting to the press. So then, time for Morgan Scott to come along and dish out all of the news. Morgan, come on, take it away.
Go on, Morgie.
So Scott Parker has updated the media on the injury and illness front ahead of this week's trip to Barnsley. So the Cherries coach had confirmed that attacker Jamal Lowe has tested positive for COVID-19 and is currently self-isolated per government guidelines, but has released good news on Jefferson Lerma. Parker said, we just had the one case, as I reiterated, of Jamale. Obviously, we had Jefferson Lerma, but he came out of isolation. He trained for the first time today, and on how he reacts, which I suspect will be fine, he will be available. Parker also alluded to the fact that, as most people are aware, Chris Mepham came off with a hamstring injury. He probably not going to be available for this weekend's game. And Lewis Cook, I think, had a little bit of a knock. But Jordan Tamora's been back in training. He's had a good week under his belt, so he will be in contention to start. Leif Davis has, I think, had a bit of a mixed time since joining from Leeds to AFCB on loan. I think it's been a little bit frustrating for him at times. He's had a few injuries, he's had a bit of illness, a bit of this and a bit of that, and but Leif has done very well, especially with Jordan being out and Brady still not being available. So no, it's been good for Leif. And up the Cherries, and I will see you hopefully soon.
There we go then. That's the presser from Dean Court yesterday. And look, it's sad to hear about Chris Mepham being out for around a fortnight. It's just, slight hamstring injury. Could have been worse, to be fair. Jefferson Lerma, of course, he tested positive for COVID-19 earlier, towards the end of last week, and had his period of isolation. But apparently he's back in training. So
yeah, he is.
He could be available, mate.
Very happy.
Very happy.
I'm very happy with that.
It could be available, which and so much so, I think he'll probably play. I mean, I don't know how Colombia feel about that, but I've got a feeling he'll play.
Yeah, I think. Well, you look at the kind of when he was tested positive and the isolation period, then he should be okay. It's I think he's going to have a training session beforehand, so yeah, he should be all right. And we know how crucial Jeff is. We've seen that when he hasn't been available, so hopefully he'll be all right. And that'll feel like we've kind of got a player back out of nowhere, because we were assuming he was going to be out. So yeah, that'd be great, mate.
With Chris Mepham not around though, that means that it's an unfit Cahill, and he did, or an untested Hill. So either one way, there'll be a Hill on the pitch, either a Hill or a Cahill. What's going to happen? We don't really know. I mean, obviously we'll do our lineup, but good to have a regular face back in at left back. I presume he'll be back in. Jordan Zamura's returned to full training as well, and seen some pictures on AFCB.co.uk with him back on the training pitch. Really good to see.
Oh yeah, chuffed. And to be fair, I don't want to take too much away from Leif Davis, because I actually didn't think he was. No. I thought he was okay against Hull, considering how poorly we performed. And I don't actually think he's let us down in the two games. Zamura just offers you something different. He's just a step above, so I expect him to come back in. Gutted for Meps, mate, because I felt what happened last season, up in the start of this season. As soon as you start thinking, I'll tell you what, he's silencing the critics a bit here. He's playing really well. He's getting us higher up the pitch. He seems to get a knock, so I'm really gutted for him. And yeah, that will be really interesting. I mean, we haven't mentioned Zeno Ibsen Rossi purely to the fact that he's just playing the under-23s.
He played yesterday against Southampton, didn't he? And
great win.
Oh yeah, one Pollock.
Let's get better.
There they go.
Massive win. No, really good win. And I think because of that, and he is still murmured that we're trying to get him alone, then he probably won't be involved. I'll be surprised. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Cahill doesn't look right at the moment, but he's normally. The quality he's got when he's on it, and we haven't seen Hill. He's used to. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's left-footed. I know he has played on that left side, but I think I've heard that he's played right side quite a lot as well. So he's comfortable. Primarily
plays on the right, and he's basically a right-sided Lloyd Kelly. And I thought he would be blooded for the FA Cup match, but I don't know, it could be a toss of the coin, or it could be a last-minute fitness test or whatever, just to see. I wouldn't be surprised if he does revert to Cahill, but it'd be really interesting if James Hill came in. And obviously we were chatting about COVID before. Morgan alluded to it, that Jamal Lowe tested positive for COVID-19. His partner said on social media that he's been self-isolating since Sunday. So with the 5-day isolation period, it means he would be available, but he won't be starting. Whether he'll be on the bench remains to be seen. So you know what, players are slowly coming back, and when Chris Mepham's back, that could be good for a little bit more. But with regards to Ibsen Rossi, I mean, it's funny, he started the season so well, and he would be someone that I would have probably been willing to start based on his early. But they tailed off a little bit, didn't he?
A little bit. I would say Ibsen Rossi was, as you say, pretty solid every game he played. Then I felt he looked a little bit dodgy in the Blackpool game, and then I remember when he came on against Coventry and we surrendered the 2-goal lead. Yeah. So he had a few dodgy performances. Apart from that, he was solid. And really, you could probably say Cale's been solid with a few dodgy performances. Yeah. The difference is Cale's experience and Ibsen Rossi's lack of experience. But I wouldn't surprise me if certain Bournemouth fans were saying I'd chuck Rossi in. But then again, we're never going to know what Hill's about until he's given an opportunity. I probably will get onto the lineup. I probably expect more. They've been kind of getting Hill in ready to play in that Bournemouth game, personally, which is only a week away. So I expect Cahill, but we'll see. And I mean, a few dodgy performances. We know Cahill is a top player on his day, and he should be able to cope with Barnsley. No disrespect.
So, will we wreck the Tykes? Psych. Let's find out about the opposition. That was good, wasn't it? That was actually a podcast title that we did for the 3-0, I think. I'll have to go back and have a look. But let's have a chat about Barnsley then. At home, they've won 1, drawn 3, lost 5 since our game back in September. The last time we played at their place, Tom, can you remember what happened?
All I think of is when you say that is Diego Rico. I was buzzing for him that day, mate. That was his only goal for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And it was a screamer, and I just remember being buzzing for him, and he'd done the old celebration and that. Yeah. And I also remember Sam Surridge having a really good game. Yeah. We played him and Solanke, didn't we? Who I believe also scored. And was it Billy in the other one? I think it was Billy, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah.
So it was 4-0, we were very, very good. And it was a good win because obviously, as we've alluded to, Barnsley were very good last season. And that was a really good one. And I remember, obviously it was behind closed doors, so I remember watching that on the telly, and yeah, we were really impressive, and it was a good one. And before that, I think it was the one before that, or the last time I went, was 1-0 win, Steve Cook, 94th minute, Ian Hart corner.
Oh, is that where it's kind of like as good as bundled in?
Oh, it was so bundled in, and absolute limbs in the away end. There weren't many of us, and I loved it. So I've got decent memories of Oakwell, and like I say, that was a real turgid, horrible game, and we managed to nick one last minute. It's what you want from an away day. So I'll take either of them tomorrow, mate. Take either of them.
Love it. Well, earlier on today, I chatted to Joe Beardsall from the Red All Over YouTube channel, an excellent Barnsley YouTube channel. Check the link in the description because they're the Barnsley equivalent to what we do. They're creating a really good sort of community. They've got regular chat shows. They have all sorts of fans on, post-match fan cams, and they do an excellent job. And somehow managing to stay relatively positive and upbeat, yet also telling it how it is in amongst a very difficult time at Oakwell. Let's hear what he had to say. Joe, how are you doing?
Yeah, really good, Sam. We've not kicked off yet, so I'm fantastic, mate. Till Saturday, 3 o'clock.
It's good to hear you're doing fantastic. And look, tell our viewers a little bit about your channel, because I've alluded to the fact previously that you do such a good job maintaining positivity, but also you do a cracking job in doing all things Tykes. It's fantastic to watch.
Yeah, I appreciate it, mate. I mean, maintaining positivity at the minute is the biggest challenge for Barnsley fans, as you can imagine, Bournemouth lot. We do Red All Over on YouTube, so you can check that out. Go give us a sympathy subscribe if you don't mind, just to help us out. We set it up in lockdown because we knew that, things were tough at the time, and there wasn't, obviously the games were on and off and we couldn't go to watch them. So we did it just to see how it went and hopefully, entertain a few fans, make them laugh. We keep it light-hearted most of the time, but we talk about the serious issues as well. And yeah, we have tried to keep it a good laugh, mate, this season. But as you can imagine, it's becoming more and more difficult each week.
So a couple of contrasting seasons then. I mean, last season was exceptional, and this season not so much. What's gone wrong? Is it solely on the pitch? Are there things going off the pitch for people that might not know?
Yeah, I mean, with anything like this, such a decline, you imagine it's not just one thing. We can't just pinpoint one particular aspect. Taking us back to last season, I know you guys give us a run around at our place, but second half of the season when we beat you guys at your place, and this is a respect as well, it was like, wow, we've got something here. We're little old Barnsley, and look at what we're achieving. It's amazing, and we were all, on cloud nine. You fast forward to the summer, obviously didn't get through the playoffs. Swansea were a difficult challenge for us and got knocked out. We lose the manager, we lose the CEO, and we lose the captain. But there was still reason to be optimistic because, a new gaffer coming in, we felt like we're moving in the right direction. We knew we'd probably take a hit. So we were all like, mid-table would be fine. But there was a little bit of optimism. Could we still do something? What's it going to be like? So we were a bit unknown. But it just started very badly and got worse and worse. It was clear from quite early on the new manager was not he wasn't right for this club at all. He just didn't get us. He used to stand there with his hands in his pockets. I mean, one thing you need from Barnsley, we're an hard-working, mining town. It's all about graft and passion, and he just literally stood there like a statue most of the time. So when you're losing, there was no motivation for the young players. So it just created this horrible atmosphere, and then it's gone from bad to worse. Injuries, COVID, players out, new managers come in. He's shown a little bit more passion, I guess, in some regards, but he's not won in 8 games. I mean, we didn't even get a new manager bounce. What was it, a draw? I think we got a draw against Huddersfield. That was a new manager bounce. It's just the fans have just obviously quite rightly got really upset with this, and it's now gone up to the hierarchy and sort of the board, and people are just saying, look, what's going off here? I mean, we're on the 27th, I think it is, of January. We've not signed a single player in the January window. That doesn't exactly scream of let's sort this situation out, does it? Or any urgency. So even though there's some whispers today, we might sign someone on deadline day. Fans are just completely, to be honest, just upset, frustrated, angry, and just don't know what's going off. What is happening? We've gone from, dreaming of the Premier League to back to square one, essentially, back in League One, where we deserve to be at the minute.
It seems to be, in some circumstances, players, and you get the feeling that some clubs have a siege mentality on the pitch where they try to put in a shift, but from what I've been listening and seeing on your channel recently, there seems to be a bit of despondency between you and the lads in terms of how the performances have been. And explain what you saw in the week when you lost 3-0 at Forest. Was it convincing, or did you just roll over? How was it for you?
Well, put it this way, Steve Cooper, Forest manager, came out after and said that he wasn't happy with their performance, and we lost 3-0. So that sums up exactly how bad we are. Look, in past time, we've had Barnsley teams that have not been the best football inside, but they've always had the grit, the effort, the determination. Whenever we're against adversity, we try as hardest, and we'll scrape the odd result. And sometimes we still come up short and we get relegated, but fans can take that on the chin. For me, the biggest frustration is there's a lot of talk from the coaches and obviously the players in interviews about we're putting loads of effort in and all this sort of stuff. And maybe they are, but on the pitch, it doesn't feel that way. We're chasing shadows. Maybe that's the only thing we are doing, putting effort in chasing shadows. But the style of play, I don't really know what our style of play is. It's supposed to be press and counter-press. Okay. I don't think we press well at all. I said on the last show, Samba, Forest goalkeeper. If you've watched Forest, you'll know he's pretty chilled in his style. Well, he could be as chilled as he wanted to be on Tuesday night, mate. I said I think I one point he popped for a cup of tea, realised he got no milk in, and went to the shop and got some, and still didn't go and challenge him. So mate, it's been absolutely dreadful. It's probably the worst I don't want to be like exaggerating here, but genuinely, I just do feel it's probably the worst I've ever seen it at Barnsley in my sort of 28 years as being on this planet. I've obviously not supported him since I was I can't remember when I was 1 year old, but you know what I mean? I can't remember any worse times, because even when it's been doom and gloom and we're getting relegated, we've always had a bit of effort, a bit of grit and stuck in there. It just feels like we're just trying to do things that just don't fit the style of the club and the history of the club and just don't really work. And that's why fans are now saying, well, from top to bottom, what's happening? The owners are not bringing anyone in or investing anything just to give us half a chance of getting out of the situation, which then obviously has a knock-on effect to the coaches who think, well, I'm trying to do it with my hands tied behind my back. And then obviously the players. But, we still need the coaches and the players to show up on Saturday and do the best they can do and forget all that stuff, because they're playing for the fans and we deserve better.
So who are the Barnsley players or player that we should be most wary of, or player that could stand out at the weekend on Saturday? Have you got a name for us? It's got to be. Come on.
Well, Carlton Morris has tested positive for COVID, so it's unlikely he's going to play, because I think he's going to have 2 negative tests. I'm not like top on these COVID sort of restrictions, but I think that's the case. So if he plays, then he is the spark.
Okay.
He's the one whose attitude is solid. He's positive, but gets stuck in, puts himself about, works really hard. He's the one who I think is the most likely to get as a result. When he's on the pitch, I sort of still think maybe if Carlton gets on the ball enough, just give it to him. It's like like watching. I don't want to compare it to watching a team with Messi in it because it's not quite. It's definitely not quite that. But it's like when you've got that one-star man at the minute, it's just like if we can just get ball to Carlton Morris because that's the only chance we've got of doing anything. So he's the one that might be a threat if he plays. But to be honest with you, I can't really. In spells, there's tiny bits of quality from some of the others. The keeper's played well. Brad Collins pretty much all season, but even he had a bit of a miss kick the other day to Forest, I think, and nearly gave a goal away. So they're just completely void of confidence, mate, and it's just a really, really bad situation. So
I feel as though I should give you a head and a heart prediction for this one rather than just ask you the one. So if you had to, your optimistic one and also maybe a pessimistic one, how do you see it panning out Saturday?
If we change our mentality, and it's all about this for us, because at the minute we're all thinking up here, we're going through the motions, and we're just, we're not actually trying to think clearly. I think if we did that, if we really fight hard and we put loads of effort in, make it difficult for you, because you're not having the best time for your standards, are you? I think we discussed this on our show. Yeah. Maybe a 1-1, maybe a 1-1. But I mean, my realistic head's telling me that it'll be, as it's been many times this season, Bournemouth's turning point in their season. They'll beat Barnsley and they'll go, remember when we beat Barnsley? That was the turning point. They got us promoted. That's what Hull fans have been saying to us since they beat us. Remember when we beat Barnsley? And then we turned it around. Yeah, honestly, mate, I really do not see how Barnsley get a win because the issues are too deep-rooted for it just to suddenly click and for us to start winning for me. I think there's got to be a lot more. Things need to happen on and off the pitch for it to change, and at the minute it's not looking likely.
Okay, so before we wrap up, how do people find you and your channel?
Just pop over onto YouTube, type in the words "red" all over, and yeah, like I said, sympathy subscription, please. Don't cost you anything. Just have a heart. I feel like I'm doing a charity appeal. I shouldn't be here, to be honest.
For just £2 a month, yeah.
For absolutely nothing, just because you feel sorry for us because we can't win a game of football, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So thanks, Bournemouth fans, and we have bigged up Solanke. I said to Sam, he's 19, 20 goals he's got?
Yeah, he's approaching 20. I think he's on about 18, 19 at the moment.
18.
So he's nearly there.
He's not in bad nick, Cherries. He's not in bad nick, but he's only got 2 or 3 more goals than our entire team. So still progress to be made. There's always room for improvement, but yeah, go check out our channel. We have said some nice things about you guys. So yeah.
Love it. Okay, yeah, so make sure you check out Red All Over on YouTube. Joe, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
No worries, mate. Enjoy the game.
Yeah, so that was me chatting to Joe Beardsall earlier on today. Do you know much about the Barnsley manager who they've got now?
I don't even know if he's going to be there, is he?
I don't think he will because he was off for the Nottingham Forest game.
Yep.
Might not even be there, but it's Poya Asbaghi.
Fair play to you. I wasn't going to attempt it, mate. But no, fair play to you. No, I can't. No. I can't lie to know an awful lot about him. Obviously, they started the season with it. The last time we played him there, the other gaffer, didn't they? So, yeah, I mean, he's got a job on his hands, mate. And like you say, hopefully he gets well soon. So I don't know what's going on with that situation. But yeah, he has got a job on his hands, and he'll certainly be liked if he manages to keep him up, mate. Whatever happens. But they're in a really bad period. But it's difficult, isn't it? You write teams off, but you see with Derby at the moment, a few wins of the Championship is massive, mate, and it only takes them to go and surprise a team like Bournemouth and they could kick on. So certainly won't rule them out. They showed last season they've got some decent players, and yeah, they need their home fans. They need to make that place a bit of a fortress. That's what you need to do when you're in that, and they just haven't done it at the moment. But yeah, don't know an awful lot about him, but I'm still expecting a bit of a battle, actually, mate.
I did a video on their channel, and the first thing they pretty much said was, how many goals are you going to put past us? But I don't feel very confident.
It'd be weird.
Why would I?
It'd be weird for us to feel that way after losing 3-2 to Luton and 1-0 to Hull. Yeah. It was. I've said this before. It was two completely different ways to lose a game, and both as bad as each other. So yeah, we're certainly not going to be thinking we're going to put 4 or 5 past you. I'll take a 1-0 right now. Yeah. We just need to win the game. But again, you look at our squad. You look at the fact that we got to bounce back at some point. and you look at how Barnsley are doing, we've got to still fancy ourselves.
Yeah.
And be mad not to. So and from their perspective, they're obviously going to say, they'll be quite surprised if they get anything. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, so the list of absentees for Barnsley grows by the week. Defender Liam Kitching missed out with concussion in the week. Carlton Morris tested positive for COVID-19, and a handful of others are unavailable as well. And in their own words on their website, the Reds bench at Nottingham Forest resembled a crash. Unbelievable. Top scorer Corley Woodrow has been out injured as well as Halme. We talked about Kitching, Callum Britton as well, and one of the players that probably might not be injured, Hellick, and he's the one player that really kind of stood out for me during our matches against them last season. Despite the 4-0.
Yeah.
I thought he was an excellent player. And do you remember, that 4-0 game that we had at their place was one that didn't feel like a 4-0 from the first half, because they looked all right.
They were a team that I always remember doing a video kind of midway through the season. We were talking about the chasing pack and etc. And Barnsley were mid-table at the time, and I said, I don't know why it seems really weird because it'd be at 4-0, but I think they'll push. I was right in that, because we definitely saw some things like you say. They played some good stuff, but Hellick, I think that's how you pronounce it, Hellick. He's always been someone, Barnsley fans were like hearing me say this, but I don't see him being there for much longer. I think he's a really good centre half. He allows them to press higher up the pitch, the way he plays, and they do try a high press. So yeah, I do rate him. I mean, I always think every time I've seen Woodrow, he's caused a few problems. Obviously, it sounds like he might be out, which would be a plus for us. They've obviously missed him, but yeah, Hellick's always one. If you weren't going to mention it, I was. He's one that stands out for me. Obviously, last season they had Moat, which they haven't got anymore. So now I'd say, yeah, Hellick's a good player. And I look forward to that battle with him and Solanke. Actually, it'd be an interesting one. That
the ref tomorrow is Andre Mariner, of course, Premier League quality. Points to you, mate, if you know the last game that he refereed for AFC Bournemouth.
I mean, I could lie and pretend I know, because I can see it. I wouldn't have had a clue, mate. Don't take any notice in the referees. Don't take any notice.
It says it there.
Yeah, it does say it. But yeah, it's obviously, I'm not going to pretend I knew, but it was Crawley.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, thank you.
Funny
Edit
that.
the bit out where I said I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that the Mark Wright game? We didn't come on when we beat Crawley in the cup. We thought Mark Wright might come on.
Yeah, what was the score in that? That was.
They knocked out Leeds, didn't they?
Yeah, live on BBC.
Yes, and then we done. Did Row score? Oh, I don't know, but we done them, didn't we? We done them before we went out to Southampton.
Yeah, love it. And yeah, that's the ref for the game. Right then, are you travelling? I hope you are. If so, leave nice and early. I think the road should be relatively clear, but it's all about the pubs and predictions, right? Let's do it now. Right, myself and Tom are going to get our predictions on shortly, but Morgan Scott, come on then. He sent in his video. Here's what he thinks.
I haven't really thought about it too much. I'm going to go for 1-0, just to get back on the winning board. If it's a scruffy 1-0, I hope for the fans making the trip, it will be better than that. But I'm going to go 1-0. I'm going to go for Solanke. He needs to get back in form. He needs to get a goal. So yeah.
And what do you think? What they can do is put them in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. We like to know everyone's opinions.
Yeah.
It's always interesting, yeah.
You tell us what you think the predicted score is going to be. What do you think it's going to be, mate? What was this? Plain Central again?
It is, isn't it? I'm going to go... I want to be really cool. I'm going to go 1-0. We're going to win it 1-0. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a bit nervy. I think they'll make it a bit of a scrap, but I think we'll have a little bit too much. So, yeah, I'm going to go for your standard 1-0 Solanke, and we'll just get over the line, and then hopefully that can kick us on a little bit going forward. But I don't expect it to be a really easy one, just because of our form, really. And, they are fighting for their lives. So, yeah, I expect a tight one, but I think we'll have too much, hopefully, mate.
You know what? I'm going to be a little bit more confident. I'm going to go for a 3-0. Part of me, head is 2-0, but heart's 3-0, and I want to go with heart today.
Go for it, mate.
Screw it. 3-0. I think Dom Solanke's going to get on the score sheet. I just think this is the kind of team, no disrespect to Barnsley, but this is the kind of fixture that we really need to kind of kickstart our season again. Because what were the amount of games we've got left? We need a match where we build our confidence and get some form back ahead of some winnable matches. Of course, there's the FA Cup against Bournemouth, but there's Birmingham as well at home, and you think, we need that run. We thought it could start before Luton. It didn't. We then thought it could start pre-Hull. It didn't. It has to start now. And if we lose this fixture, we don't deserve to go up at all. We don't.
If you lose 3 in a row, Luton, Hull and Barnsley, then you're going to do something special to go up, mate. So yeah, like you say, we thought we'd. I mean, I looked at that and thought minimum of 7 points out of them 3. We can only get 3 now, but yeah, it's a must. It's weird. I don't like the must-win thing because we can still go up if we lose, but it feels like a game that we really need to stamp our authority a little bit and go. We've had a little blip, but we're back. We've gone to a team that are really struggling. Yeah. Really up against it, and we've gone and just wiped them away and gone, right, let's kick on now. That's what we need to do. And yeah, I'm hoping that we'll do that, mate.
Do you think the result on Saturday will change anything in terms of the transfer dealings for the subsequent 2 days of the window? Do you think if we lose it, they'll be like, okay, my God, we need action? Or if we win it, they might be like, you know what, let's just not worry so much. Do you think this one game could have a bearing on what transfer decisions could be made?
I think if we win, it shouldn't, because we should be expecting to go there and win. No disrespect again. So I don't think it should. But if we lose it, it might cause a bit more panic. Understandably, maybe.
Well, fans will be obviously absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I would dread Twitter. I would dread it.
It would be the first time I think everything would be properly questioned if we were to lose this game. So yeah, I think if we were to not win this game, even only draw it, I think there might be a little bit more panic upstairs about we need to get some bodies over the line. I think if we win it, it shouldn't change our plans too much. And you never want to panic off the back of a defeat, but it would be free on the bounce. Yeah. So yeah, but let's not think about it too much. Hopefully we'll just get the win, mate.
Right, we've done our predictions as well, but this is called Pubs and Predictions. And look, we do the hard work, so you don't have to. So we've got some information on the pubs that you can go to. So nearest the stadium, you can see the map on screen. You've got the Metrodome as well. It's like their version of the Little Down Centre. There's like swimming baths and tennis courts and stuff. Now, for Bournemouth fans, it's okay, but there is a caveat. We did message them and they said, yes, we are open to away fans from 12 noon, but they've only got limited space on Saturday afternoon due to a number of events in the centre. So if you're thinking of going there, maybe think again, but you can go there for a pint if you're sort of short of time and you're desperate, because that's the nearest place to Oakwell that does actually have away fans. There have been some other teams that have played Barnsley who weren't allowed in there at all. That's probably due to proximity in numbers. They're probably realising that we're not going to bring that many. So if there's a few of you, it's okay. So just be wary. Limited space. Right, south of Oakwell, the Dove Inn. Right, need to talk about the Dove Inn because they are going to be open, but only to families and no groups of under 25s as well. All right. So if you're in that bracket, it being under 25, just don't think about it and go to our other option that we're going to provide. But if you're a family, you want a nice meal, go to the Dove Inn. Lovely pub, lovely staff. I mean, I've only chatted to them over Facebook, but they seem really nice,
lovely.
mate.
Sounds like they seem lovely, mate.
Yeah, but if you are in that bracket of being in a large group and wanting a few beers and singing a few songs, then the Barnsley East Dean Working Men's Club.
Sounds lovely, mate.
Sounds like a hell. That's on 111 Doncaster Road. That's going to be open to all as well. That's to the south of Barnsley. Right, never eat shredded wheat. To the west of Barnsley, there's also a few pubs as well. That's called the Jolly Tap.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, the Jolly Tap. Also, there's the Joseph Brammer, which is a Wetherspoons pub. If you're going in there, make sure you don't show your colours. But also the old number 7, which is probably where we are going to head.
Mark Pugh,
yeah, the old number 7, and they are all good. And they said, yeah, not a problem. All are welcome at the old number 7. So that's where we'll probably go and going to park nearby there as well. So now you know where to go. But the thing is, we'll probably just have like a J2O and a panini, won't we?
Yeah, well, I was hearing that then. I thought, oh, I fancy a nice swim. And
Yeah.
I was wondering, are you going to tell me where the Costa is, or because I don't, we don't endorse that on there. So I was just going to have a coffee. But to be fair, you've twisted my arm a little bit there. You've twisted my arm. There's a few good options there, so might have a couple, I think.
Yeah, might have a couple. Right, safe journey if you are going. I think it's time for me and Tom to try to work out the predicted team. Here we go, mate.
Let's do it.
Predicted team. Right then. Look at us. We've become a little box now, and there's all the stuff to that side, wherever. Right. So Nyland's done really, really well in his game against Hull. Clean sheet. So Travers is going to go in goal. Of course.
Will Dennis is pushing as well, and we saw him. We said hello to him after last game. And
Friend of the show,
yeah,
Will Dennis.
I've warned to him now. I'm willing. Mark Travers in goal, been brilliant all season, and he's been more vital than I expected, mate.
Yeah.
So yeah, buzzing to have him.
Well, should we cut to the chase with regards to three of the back four by saying Stacey,
Yep.
Lloyd Kelly,
Yep.
Jordan Zamora? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Jordan Zamora is.
We're assuming he's come back fine and he's training fine, so we're assuming all that. And like I've said before, I don't think Leif Davis has been awful. I really don't. But Zamora offers you something different. So yeah, we'll go with that. And we think that Laird's not quite ready, don't we? So we'll go with Stacey as well. And obviously Kelly will play and captain the side.
I wonder if Zamora's inclusion will then force his hand further up the pitch.
Potentially.
We'll chat about that, I'm sure. Okay, so that right centre back position. It's going to be a hill of some kind.
It will. I think that he will go with Gary Cahill.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not sure. I'm quite open to it really. In terms of if Cahill's there, I'd think let's calm down. He's had a few dodgy games, but if he's fit and ready to go, we know he's a quality player. If he plays James Hill, I'll be like, oh, I'm interested to see him given a chance. If he plays Rossi, I'll go, well, he's played well. So I'm quite open to it. But yeah, I personally think he'll go Gary Cahill.
Yeah, Gary Cahill. I agree with that, but yeah, wouldn't be surprised. It's one of these asterisk jobbies that last week when I put Gary Cahill and I probably should have put Chris Mepham, is basically one of them. Okay, the three in midfield then, I mean, we think Lerma's going to be back.
Yeah, we're hearing that Lerma's obviously he's had his period of isolation. Looks like he's going to get a training session in, so happy days, mate. He'll be in there.
Phil Bill?
I assume Phil Bill. I think he was really off it in the last game.
He was absolutely off it. I was about to use those exact words.
But I'm not sure on the official stats, but it's very rare that he's on the bench. He's either not available or he starts. Yeah. So we've got to put him in there, obviously advanced.
And then
it's tough because I don't think Mark Honlis has been bad.
No.
But I don't think
I'm not sure you can play them. I don't know.
I don't think that three worked against Hull. I mean, you could argue that first half we created a few bits, but I think away from home you want to get a little bit more control deeper. We're not sure on the Lewis Cook situation. Obviously, he missed out last time. Would he play Lerma and Pearson? I don't think he would. I'm actually going to go for Gavin Kilkenny. I
would love that.
I would like that, and I think if you think of us, don't get me wrong, Barnsley are obviously struggling, whereas Middlesbrough aren't. But a similar, a long trip, a potential scrappy sort of game. He played Kilkenny in that Middlesbrough game. I think that's the last game he started, and he was one of our best players.
Yeah, he was.
I think just to get a bit more control away from home midfield and just take the sting out of it a little bit. I think he'll sit Gavin Kilkenny in there with Lerma and allow Billing to really be advanced then because he's got two behind him. So I'm going to go for almost a double pivot. It can change throughout the game of Lerma and Kilkenny with Billing more advanced. But I feel for Emmy, but I think that's what'll happen.
So as I mentioned before, as I touched on, left-hand side, Jordan Zamora being there, will that then pave the way for Jayden Anthony to start, do you think?
I think it probably will.
I thought he looked quite good when he came on.
He did, and the interesting thing is I always think Jamal Lowe looks good when he comes on, but not when he starts. But Lowe's obviously had a period with COVID and isolation.
Of course.
And also the fact that we're hoping Zamora will be back. I do think it'll be...
That's a good shout, I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
so I do think it'll be Zamora and Anthony. The only other one that could play there is Rogers. I don't think he'll get a start. No. So yeah, I'm going to go Jayden Anthony on that left-hand side. He had a game off where he didn't start, and he's probably dipped a little bit. But I think with his mate behind him, hopefully he'll be back. He'll be back on it. And like you say, he did come on and do well in the last game, I thought.
And then right hand side,
it's got to be Ryan Christie. And I actually think with Christie, I think Christie's so good. And then when we've had that dip in form, I think it's coincided with Christie not being quite at it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that Ryan Christie back, to be honest. That Christie we know. So but he'll definitely start.
Just had a breaking.
Oh, hello.
Tweet. Nothing to the. we already clarified to all Bournemouth fans that the Mount pub is not open to away fans and is a home fans pub only. As staff at the pub, we can only apologise for the inconvenience. Usually, the Dove Inn is an option for which we've said. You know what? I'll retweet that, Kieran. Thank you so much. All right then, up front,
Christian Sadie. It will be Dominic Solanke,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'll tell you what. We don't even know if Lowe's going to be available to be in the squad, but yeah, we're very reliant on Dom at the moment. And as we mentioned earlier, it'll be interesting that battle with Helik, however you say it, because I think he's a good centre half. But Dom's been to Oakwell and done well before, and it's been a couple of games without a goal for Dom, hasn't it? So yeah, we could do with him getting back on the score sheet. But yeah, I think that picks itself. Obviously, I think there's a few positions that you could argue with, especially in that middle of midfield. But yeah, that's what I'm confident that it being that side. Might have a few surprises. You never know.
And let us know what you think. So in the comments, we're looking for score predictions, but also starting 11 predictions as well. We would love to know what you think. Tom, I think that's the preview nearly done.
Yeah, that's it all, mate. I just desperately win this game. Desperate with this game. We're going to be off early. Like I say, I've had some decent trips to Oakwell, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a real scrappy one, but the worry is every time I say I hope we'll have too much quality, I think I said that against Hull. Yeah. But hopefully, mate, we'll bounce back, and yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully, we get that away end pumping. Yeah, looking forward to it, mate, and then win this game, get a few bodies in, and off we go.
Right.
Oh, hello.
Have you got a load of £1 coins at your disposal that we can take on the trip up? Because we may need to bring some. Look, we're travelling with Steve Hensman and also his sons Adam and Ben as well, who are, they're of younger age. We might need to do a swear jar, mate.
I think we might have to, and yeah, I think their old man's the one they got to worry about anyway, mate. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I fancy so. I'll tell you what. If you tell me to put quids in if I swear, then I will not swear. Mate. I'm looking after my pennies because they're going in the Dove Inn by the sounds of it. But yeah, that'll be a laugh, mate. But yeah, really looking forward to it, and yeah, safe trip to all the other Cherries fans, and hopefully it'll be a good one, mate.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, do all that stuff, and like the video if you found this useful. We'll be outside Oakwell getting some post-match reaction. If you haven't been on before, or even if you have, come say hello and react to our 3-0 whitewashing of the Tykes. Well, let's hope so anyway. Until the next one, up the Ches.
Up the Ches.